Hey, welcome back to the Black and Gold Standard Podcast. And today we're going to continue our series on the top 10 prospects. And today we're talking centers. Again, a position that I believe the Pittsburgh Steelers may not be buyers in this year's draft in this position, but you just never know. When you have 12 picks, I think a little bit of everything is open, but wouldn't be shocked if the Steelers do not pick a center. I think they're looking pretty good. I think they signed a backup center back. You got Frazier, and I think the new guard that they signed in free agency, I think he's actually a center too. So this is probably a position that the Pittsburgh Steelers will not um will not parlay in this draft. But you, like I say, you never know. You never know because some of these guys that some of these centers, these guys can move over the guard. So you never know. I mean, maybe they see them as a combo. We can get because, like I say, you always want to bring in the best talent that you can get. Hey, what's up, Steeler Lee? How you doing? Um, it never hurts to bring in better talent. But if you can get a guy that that you think this kid could be a better backup than the backup that you have, and then also if they bring the talent of playing guard also, you never know. So with that said, let's kind of jump right into it and let's see what we have here. All right. So going right into it, starting off, Jordan White, my number 10 center from Vanderbilt. 6'4", 319 pounds. You can see his 10-yard split was a 1.73. So athletic. He's an athletic um center that he can move, he can climb to the next level. And this is a guy, like what I was just saying, maybe you can convert him over to a guard. And like I say, this is what you want. This is what you want on your offensive line. You want some guys that can be that could do more than just one thing. I mean, to be honest, and I want to say McCormick is I think he only can play center. And to me that's not really a good value as a backup. I kind of, me personally, I would want a guy that can do both, that can play center but also can move over the guard. So that's kind of like one guy, two roster spots. So that'll save you a roster spot, down the road. If you want to keep an extra receiver or keep an extra defensive lineman or whatever. So it will be some value with some of these guys. Like I say, I don't really think the Steelers are in the market for just a true center. But if you can get a little bit of both out of these guys, that's what you want. So what they say about Jordan White, he's a meat and potato center with the chops to contribute in downhill power based running attack. So as you can see, you can run behind him. He can get to the second. He can climb to the second level, which is very important, and he can execute pulls, in which that is very important as a center because actually, believe it or not, that's something that's not easy to do. Snap the ball and then get out and pull. So that's one of the things that I like. And then as you seen the split of 173, I think it was. He's athletic enough that he can move. But also it says right here he may struggle with elite quickness required for outside zone schemes. So might not fit for the Steelers. Might not fit for the Steelers. But again, he's my number 10 um center. So moving right along, Connor Tolleson, 6'3", 295 pounds. Um, a little slower in the 10-yard split at 1.89. Again, another guy that could you convert him over to play guard. That would just be one of the things that you would try to do. What we got here? Let's see what we got here from Stiller Lee. McCartney says he wants players to be able to play multiple positions, so a lineman that can play guard, center, or a tackle guard is more likely to get drafted. Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, because think about it. If you can get three guys, just and that's just on the low end, but say you can get three guys that can play two positions, that's three extra roster spots. So yeah, I agree. I agree with that comment, and I agree with that mentality and that thinking that you want guys that can play multiple positions. So that's why I was saying don't be shocked. I mean, is it a need for a center? No. But don't be shocked if the Pittsburgh Steelers end up drafting a center late in the draft. I don't want people to be thinking like, well, that's a wasted pick because we're pretty set at center. But you like I say, you never know. Um, Especially if these guys just can be better than your backup. But also look at these guys that they may come in and they may try to convert them over to play some guard also. So with that said, now you got to kind of need and get that off. Like I say, you want to keep this offensive line. It's not. I'm not gonna say cheap, but you want to keep this offensive line. You want to keep the cost in control. And the only way you can keep your cost of your awesome offensive line in control is to have some young talent behind your starting guys and your big money guys. You got to have some young guys behind them. So, like I said before, I think every year and every draft, you should be, just depending on how many picks you have. But like a year like this, where you got 12 picks, and like I said, I don't expect the Steelers to use all 12, but this is a year. If you bring in two to three linemen, can't be mad at it because you just have to you got to keep building that offensive line up, keep rotating guys in and out, and just keep that young talent, keep that talent that you can develop. And eventually, if you keep drafting offensive linemen, you're gonna hit. You're gonna hit on some of those late guys. Especially if you feel good with your offensive coaching, you somebody one day, one of those late guys is gonna hit for you, and that's what you want. So like I say, um, he would be a guy that again, you would just have to look at doing both and see if he's a guy that could be converted over. So moving right along, my number 8 guy, Bryce Foster, out of University of Kansas, 6'4", 310 pounds. His 10-yard split was 1.95, so he's a little slower. So I don't really know how good of a puller he would be. So this may be a guy that you would just say, hey, we just gonna kind of keep him at center or also maybe move him to guard. So like I say, right now, most of these guys that I'm naming off, these gonna be project guys, later round guys, but um, you know, just guys that it won't be a problem taking. Foster fits the mold as a potential starting center with upside at the next level. His combination of size, strength, and elite athleticism proves that he could be a financial NFL source center. So, I mean, what they saying here, Foster has the ability to anchor against bull rush. So he's a stronger guy. Quick process, defensive fronts, and engaging defenders, will be a valuable asset in both pass protection and run blocking. So when you read his bio, this is definitely a guy that maybe could be a guy that you look at as a guard. It seems like he's a powerful guy, and that's what you want. That's what you want, and that's what you need, especially out your guards. You know, they have to be powerful guys. So again, this is a guy, maybe one of those 6 round picks. If this, because I think these about the rounds that these guys will go, fifth, 6th round. Just that's a name just to kind of keep in your memory bank that maybe the Steelers maybe make a move on. My number 7 guy, Pat Kogan, out of University of Indiana. I think he actually started off at Notre Dame. 6'5", 311 pounds. Didn't have his 10-yard split. Again, same thing. I mean, he's a little bit of he's a little bigger guy, a little taller guy. So I don't really know what type of being that he would have, but this is the guy again that you have to look at. You have to look at. His best football came in the gap or inside zone scheme, where his responsibility stays between the tackles. He processes well. His double team feeds are on schedule and delivery firm punch and pass protections that keep rushers from building momentum. All right, so again, same thing. He's just a guy that you will have to look at, and obviously we know he can play center. Now, can he get out and move? That would be a thing that the Steelers will have to look at, or any team that draft him. But it seems like he's a powerful guy, and again, another candidate to see if he can make that conversion. If he can make that conversion, and try to be a center, center and a guard. So let's keep this moving. My number 6 guy, Matt Gilbin, out of Michigan State. 6'5", 305 pounds. Didn't have the information on the splits for him. So I'm thinking these guys that don't have splits, I don't know if they went to the combine or not, because usually all like, well, you know what? Maybe he didn't run. I take that back. They could have went to the combine, but maybe they didn't run the 40. So, again, really don't know too much about him. Let's see what's got here. A sheer stubbornness rather than any kind of athletic edge. Yeah. I don't know. He's never going to win a foot race. Yeah, see, yeah. So right here, it says that he didn't. I see why he didn't run the 40. He's never going to win a foot race. So he's probably really not that athletic. He's probably more of just a mauler and a kind of plug in the middle. So again, I don't know. I don't really know what his future going to turn out to be, but we will see. All right, now I think we're starting to get into some guys that I think, like I said, maybe not for the Steelers, but I think we're starting to get into the guys right now that's going to get drafted and have an opportunity to go into training camp and win them a job, especially a team that needs a center. So these next 5 guys are guys that I believe teams that need centers are going to really be targeting these guys. These guys going to go. I'm thinking these guys going to go 5th round to 4th to 2nd. So starting off, Parker Braisford, Alabama, 6'2", kind of light though, 6'2", 289 pounds, but look at that split, 1.70. So this is a kid that can move. He can move, so I'm quite sure there's no problem with him um pulling or climbing to the next level. Um Yep. A zone happy offense that wants his center to be, yeah, see, yep. So his split shows that he's a mover. So he can move, he can climb to the linebackers, making calls at the line where he belongs. Best rep at Alabama came with the offense, let him use his feet. Yep. So yep, this is the guy that he can move, and a lot of teams are gonna like him. So this is a kid that he's gonna get drafted fairly high, and what I mean by that, I'm saying maybe at the worst fourth round, and this is gonna be a kid that the team that needs a center, a starting center, is gonna be looking heavy at. So I think where the Steelers are at right now, um, they won't have a shot at him because, like I said, I don't think they're gonna invest that type of capital that early into trying to get a kind of backup guard, backup center. So, yeah, this to be a kid that they won't be able to get. My number 4 guy, Sam Heck. Again, actually, I just watched some film on him today, and this is another kid that can move. If you look at he's 6'4", 303, a 1.73 split. So whenever you see guys in that 1.7 or lower, these guys they're athletic and they can move. And now, like I said, that's what you want from your center. You want a guy that can snap the ball and also pull at the same time, and that's something that's very hard to do. And also be able to do a combo block and then come off that combo block and get to them linebackers. Yeah, get to the linebacker and climb to that second level. And this is another kid that um he could see he could go in the fourth, third round. Um, Again, I think this is a guy that's going to go to a team that's looking for a center that they need to play pretty soon. So he's freakish power, so he must be a strong guy. Um, he's always in the right spot, always balanced, always make the correct read before the defense can get home. So yeah, this is a guy that um again, Steelers won't have a chance at him because he's gonna go much higher than what they're probably willing to invest in a center at this point in time. So with that said, my number 3 guy, Connor Lew, out of the University of Auburn, 6'5", 315 pounds. Didn't run, don't have no information on this 10-yard split. Um, Again, now this is a tall guy. I mean, most of the time you don't really see centers that's 6'5", 6'6". I mean, I remember back in the day that was like really teams really didn't want that because those guys really couldn't bend that good. But now, kids are more athletic now, so seeing a taller center is not nothing that's too crazy anymore. Again, really don't know too much about him. Um, I just questioned maybe his movement a little bit, but it seemed like he's a big guy, powerful guy, and again, I really wouldn't look at him being a Pittsburgh Steeler. My number 2 center, Logan Jones, 6'3", 299 pounds, a 1.75 split. As you can see, these guys, and all these guys, like I said, these guys can move. Man, Iowa has I would love to see. I mean, Iowa got that's 3 guys that Iowa got that's gonna go fairly high in this draft, lineman wise. Man, their offensive line was loaded. So Jones. Okay. So this he was the best center in the nation. He won the Remington Trophy, so that trophy is given to the best center in the nation. So I mean, this is a guy definitely that I think somebody is going to draft pretty high. And so you looking third, second round for this kid right here. So again, a team that needs a center, they definitely will be going his way. And my number one guy is Jake Slaughter. 6'5", 303 pounds, another good split. And this is a big guy. And his split was 1.74. So, like I say, with the linemen, you always want to don't really read into that 40, but you want to look at their 10-yard split. And anything under 1.7 is pretty good. It's pretty good. And this is the guy right here. It's pass protection, NFL ready now. So this is a kid that's probably the one kid that's probably going to step in from day one. This is just depending on what the team need is, but from day one, step right in and probably be a starting center. So I definitely would think this is a kid that's probably going to go like in the second round, late in the second round, maybe top of the third. But I think definitely I think he's going in the second round. And again, the Steelers just not going to really get involved in guys going that high. It's not going in. Hey, Christina, yeah, you like your big boys. You like your big boys. But unfortunately, a lot of these guys, you might not see none of these guys coming to the Steelers. Like I say, they may invest on some of the later, some of the guys, number 10, 9, somewhere back in there. They may invest in one of those guys later in the draft, especially if they feel like they can convert them to guards and they can play two positions. But I really don't see the Steelers shopping um, in the center market too much. So wouldn't be shocked if that we don't see none of these guys as Pittsburgh Steelers. Wouldn't be shocked. So what we got going on tomorrow? We're going to do the tight ends. We're gonna do tight ends, and then Friday we will do running backs, and we'll be done with the offense. But also remember, chat, tomorrow night at 8 o'clock is y'all night. We're gonna do our first chat mock draft. So if you don't have anything to do tomorrow, hey, call a friend and tell a friend to call another friend. And I want to see how many people we can get in the chat. And I'm letting you guys handle the draft. Like I said, we're gonna do all 12 picks, but this is gonna be the chat's mock draft and kind of see what you guys come up with. So that should be something exciting, something different, and hey, it might be proven. It might be proven that the chat knows more than everybody else. So I give you guys that opportunity. So hey, come with your game, study up a little bit, and let's see what you guys can come up with. And like I say, who knows? The chat, I might say, hey, man, we need to be listening to the chat instead of the chat listening to us. They got the plan. So with that said, that's pretty much it. Make sure you watch on the know-it-alls. We're gonna have Smash the Gas tonight. So make sure you guys tune into that on the know-it-all station. It should be some good content going on there. So I think we're talking about the running back room. So we're gonna kind of discuss that, what we think about the Steelers running back room and what changes, or just how I think the topic is gonna be just how we think the running back room is gonna really kind of shake out and who's gonna do what. But you know, so until later on tonight, I'll see you guys later. And like I said, make sure if you don't have anything going on tomorrow at 8 o'clock, Be in the chat, and we're gonna do our chat mock draft. And this is where you guys get to pick the players. We're gonna do all 12 picks. Now we're not gonna do any trades or anything like that. We're just gonna go strictly with the Steelers picks, and we're gonna see what the chat can do. So until then, you guys take care. Thanks for joining me, and I will talk to you a little later on tonight. All right, bye-bye.